I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city, let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Farm and Pastor's Wife. I'm so glad you're here. My name's Leslie and you are in my kitchen down on our farm, and I am thrilled to have you here. Today's going to be a fun video for me anyway. We are having our family dinner. Our children, Bryant and I, we have 2 children, Caroline and Isaac. Caroline is married to Jamie and they have 2 boys, Judah and Levi. Isaac is 24 years old and he lives in a little home right across the way here, and he has a girlfriend named Jessica. So we try to have family dinner once a week in some sort of way. Sometimes it's going out to eat after church on Sundays or whatever, but we like to have family dinner, and tonight is family dinner and we're having a super fun one, and I want to get it started because the longer it cooks the better it gets. So today we're having spaghetti and meatballs, and I'm bringing you guys along. I've shared this recipe before, so it's really not so much about the recipe as it is just hanging out with me while I fix it for our family, but I will link the video that has the recipe in the description. So what I've got here is my pot, and I'm just gonna got some bacon grease. This is what I call salvage gold. When it melts, it's liquid gold. But we're going to put a good little dollop of bacon grease in there, and we're going to saute some onions up. If you remember, if you've been following me the other day, I bought a huge bag at Costco or Sam's, one of the two, bag of garlic. And I saw Becky on Acre Homestead, how she saved hers up. So I'm going to go out to the freezer. I did the same thing. I froze it in little garlic pucks. I'm going to go get those and get one or two out, and while my onions are sauteing, I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and put my onions in. This is 2 small onions. I wish I'd have had some more, but that's all I had. And they were starting to sprout. So, all right. So we're going to let these saute here, and I'm going to go outside to the freezer and get my garlic. I'll be right back. Okay, here's one of my garlic pucks I saved. So we're going to put that down in there. The onions are just now getting translucent. I want them to get I don't want them to turn brown, but just maybe slightly start to caramelize a little bit. So I'm going to go put our garlic back out in the freezer. That came in so handy. So handy. All right, let me run this back out to the freezer and I'll be right back. So to our onions and garlic, I've added 4 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes, and I'm gonna have a half a can of water that I've swished out each can with that we're gonna add in here. I'm gonna grab some tomato paste, and then we're gonna season it up with garlic, some more garlic, and some Italian seasoning, and a little bit of, possibly a little bit of sugar. We'll taste it, salt and pepper definitely, and then we'll taste it, and I know we'll add some sugar, but how much will just depend on how it tastes after it cooks down just a little bit. All right. So I'm going to add, this is a larger can than what I'm used to of tomato paste. So this will, I'll probably just use a couple of good spoonfuls out of here. I'll use my bacon grease spoon. How's that? About half of this can. That's what we'll start with. And we may need to add a little more water, but we can do that as we see we're needed. Okay, so I added all the seasoning in there. I added the Italian seasoning. I added salt, pepper, garlic powder, and I did add a little bit more water. I gave it a taste, and it needed just a little bit of sugar. Now, if you add sugar to get rid of the acid, I don't think it works that way, but I add sugar just to mellow out. I don't want it necessarily sweet. I just want it to mellow out the tartness and so forth. It just gives it a great flavor, and that's just the way we like it. So if you don't like sugar in your tomato sauce, by all means, don't put it in there. If you like more, add more. I added about 1/4 of a cup. And this is a big pot. I also added just a little bit more water, but the one reason you want to be very careful, depending on the size of your pot, I don't want to fill my pot much fuller than this because my meatballs are actually going to go in here and cook in this tomato sauce. So I don't want to overfill it because the meatballs are going to make it fill up too. So, all right, I'm going to turn this down on low and let it simmer for a little bit. I'm going to go study Acts for our community Bible study on Sunday. And then I'll come back when it's time to make the meatballs. We're also going to add one more thing to this before we add our meatballs in, and that's just a sprinkling of Parmesan cheese. That just gives that sauce a good richness and a deliciousness. So the only thing that could make this sauce any better is if my tomatoes were home canned, but that's okay. We're going with what we got, and it is going to be absolutely delicious. So I'll see you back when it's time to make the meatballs. So I'm getting ready to mix up some meatballs. I'm probably not going to drop them into the gravy yet. Now you could by all means cook these in the oven prior to putting them in the sauce. I don't. I just let them cook in the sauce. It makes them tender. It gives them, it's just great. But now the caramelizing them, if you did bake them, that would add some flavor as well. So to me, it's just an added step that's not necessarily needed. So going in, I had it's probably 2.5 to 3 pounds of hamburger meat, and I want to give it a good, get it all kind of mixed up before I add in my seasoning. I'm only going to add in, and I'm not going to measure. The only thing I'll probably, well, I really won't measure, but let me wash my hands. I'm going to give parsley flakes, garlic, Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, and breadcrumbs, Italian breadcrumbs. So I'm going to season this up. I'm just going to roll them out and get them on a plate or platter and have them ready to drop in when I'm ready for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these mixed up and have them ready, so then I can move on to making the salad. I did forget one thing that's going to be going in here that I didn't mention, and that is Parmesan cheese. And I don't have freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I just have the canned green stuff. And that's okay, because that's what we're using. That is what we're using. So we're going in with it. And it serves as a, of course, flavor, cheesy flavor, and it serves as a little bit of a binder to go along with the breadcrumbs. All right, and I'm going to use about half of this can of breadcrumbs. I hope my bowl's big enough to, I may have to switch bowls. In fact, I probably should, just so I can have I'm going to get my enamel bowl out just because it's flatter. We'll give that a wash. And I'm going to put in about 2 cups of the breadcrumbs. All right, and I'm just going to go in with my hands and get to mixing. I want all the seasonings down here in the bottom, and I want to be sure I'm getting it all mixed up. I have me a cookie sheet with a parchment paper just for me, not to bake them on. I'm just going to hold them on there. All right, so guys, what I'm going to do is, once I get everything mixed in here, well, I'll show you what I'll do. I'll just take a pinch and make us a nice little ball. And we'll place it right over there on the cookie sheet. But I'm going to keep working here for just a little bit. I'm making my dessert for family night. And I'm going to give you a hint, but I'm not going to film this part of it, only because I'm going to make it again for our Bible study on Sunday, and I'm going to film it for Monday's video then. So I will tell you, it includes Cool Whip. It includes chocolate, and it's delicious. Delicious. So, okay, I'm doing this. Let me show you what else I've done over here. I have dropped meatballs in. I didn't get them all in, so I'm freezing the rest. Now, some of these will break up, and it'll create kind of a meat sauce, but I don't know. I might can go get the rest of those meatballs and get in here. But anyway, meatballs are going. They'll cook in this. I'm going to turn them up in just a little bit. They'll cook for a couple hours. It really only takes about an hour, but I'll let them go longer and so forth. So I may go get the rest of those meatballs and get in there. And yeah, so I'm going to finish this dessert and then check on the meatballs and then make a salad. Okay, everyone, we have the salad made. The tea is made. I'm getting ready to put the bread on the bread pan and get it in the oven. And we're fixing to boil the spaghetti noodles. Hey everyone, we had a great family night. I did not film. The kids were wide open, but it was great. Jessica ended up being sick with strep throat, and Jamie actually had to work. So we had fewer people there than what I had anticipated, but I still have very few leftovers. Caroline took a bunch home. Isaac took some home. And but it was a wonderful, wonderful meal. Several of you saw my Facebook picture of it, and you've asked me about the dessert. Hopefully next week I'll get that done for you and a new video up on that. It's super easy and just a quick, easy, refreshing, light dessert. And it was just a great evening. And so Bryant and I, we are headed, actually he's going to the doctor, and then we're going by a nursing home, and we got just a few errands to run, and then tonight we're going to be going somewhere, but this video will already be done. Tonight's event will be on the weekend wrap up. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I know this was a quick, not really a recipe, but just kind of a family dinner. It was super easy to cook. You know, you start it early in the day because you want all your flavors to meld together. But I will share the video where I have the recipe down in this description. I'll put down in the description the link to that video so you can go and get the recipe and everything. But it was basically of you just spending some time with me while I threw together a family dinner. So, all right, thank you. Oh, and I put on my Facebook too that it was homemade. Everything was homemade except for the noodles. I did not make them from scratch, but everything else was. So, all right, thank you guys for joining us. I love you guys. Remember, if the grease is hot enough, you can fry anything. Bye, y'all.